Hi, once again, this is Bert from Bunturing Senior High School. Welcome to Pinoy Science Lecture. So for the chemistry one, what are we going to discuss for today is all about the chemical bonds and also writing chemical formula and other things like oxidation number, valence electrons. So we're going to discuss all about those things. But the end of the topic is about the writing of chemical formula. But before that, let us start now. Okay, so let's discuss about Gilbert Newton Lewis. So he is an American physical chemist. He proposed the convenient way on showing how to, to show the valence electrons by means of that. Okay, so what do you mean by valence electron? Actually, the valence electron, these are the electrons that you can able to find out in the outermost or the highest energy level. So let's take a look at this one. Okay, so if you're just going to look at the illustration, so yung kulay orange, yeah, if yung kulay orange dito. Yung kulay orange na dot, that is the valence electron. So for potassium, we have the 1. Okay, we have 1 dot, so meaning it has a valence electron. It has a 1 electron on the outermost shell and a parang excess electron. Okay, so that is the valence electron. So anong ginagawa niya? So what is the purpose of that? Ba't meron siyang valence electrons? So later on, you will gonna find out. Okay, so that is the valence electron. So this is how you're gonna show the Lewis dot structure for the elements of 1 to 18. So for 1A, so usually it has a valence electrons of 1. So 1 dot lang siya, group 1A. And then 2A, we have beryllium, so 2 dots means we have 2 valence electrons, and so on and so forth. If you're just going to notice here sa ating group 8A, and tinatawag na noble gases. So in this case kasi, ang noble gases kasi natin, they have completely filled up with 8 electrons, so meaning they are stable. So that's why hindi sila highly reactive kind of elements. Unlike with the other elements, we have a negative and sorry, we have valence electrons na not completely 8. Sila yung mga highly reactive elements. Okay, now there are different types of chemical bonds. So we have metallic bonds that exist among metals. And one of the characteristics of this is meron siyang delocalized electrons. So yung, meron bang, wala pala yung illustration doon. Hold on. Yun, sa metallic band, so it's has you mentioned delocalized electrons nga. So it gives the ability for them to conduct electricity and heat. So yun nga, it has a typically metallic properties such as thermal, electrical conductivity, ductility, malleability, and luster. So that is metallic band that exists among metals. So matatagpuan ng metals. Some part ng periodic table on the left side of the periodic table. So example of metallic bonds ay yung mga alloys. Kasi for example, yung bronze, yung steel, yan, those are the examples of the metallic compound. Okay, so let's now proceed to ionic bond. So ionic bond exists between metals and non-metals. So in this case, there is a complete transfer of electron from metals to non-metals. So this is the combination of metals and non-metal elements. So how is this one? So what will happen is that the metals are gonna lose electrons and become positive charge. So ibibigay ng metal element yung kanyang excess electron dun sa non-metal element. Okay, so doon na makikreate yung tinatawag na ionic bond. So once you lose that electrons, that is already considered as a positive charge or positive charge of an ion. Okay, now, so nonmetals accept or gain electrons and become negative charge. Okay, so metals have a positive charge, and then nonmetals, they have a negative charge. So pag positive, so they usually give up electrons, and the nonmetals are the one who accept electrons, okay, from the metals. Okay, that is ionic bond. So let me give you an example. Let's have a sodium chloride. So basic example of that, wherein sodium has a um, valence electron of 1. So, meron siyang 1 electron doon. So, binigay niya yun kay chlorine until he completely having 8 electrons na dun sa kanyang um, shell. Okay, so that's why this is how the ionic bond form. So yan, transfer lang yung electrons na galing kay sodium papunta kay chlorine. That is a ionic bond. So we form a ionic compound. Okay, so next one is covalent bond. Covalent bond exists in non-metals formed by sharing of electrons between atoms. So this one, sharing naman. Kung kanina, yung ionic bond, you need to transfer ka ng electrons from metals going to non-metals. Ito naman, both non-metals, but they are going to share their electrons in order to form a bond. Okay, now, example of that is water. So water is composed of hydrogen and oxygen. So we have 2 atoms of hydrogen and we have a 1 atom of oxygen. So sa oxygen, we have how many valence electrons do we have here? We have 8. So we need 2 electrons to become stable. So para maging 8 siya, completely 8 electrons. Ang tawag kasi doon is octet rule. So kailangan natin siya ma-completely, filled up 8 with 8 electrons to become stable. So yun. So nag-share lang siya. So yung hydrogen kasi meron siyang valence electrons ng 1. So, sinare niya lang din yun kay oxygen. So, dalawa kasi yung hydrogen natin. So, we have 2 electrons. We share that to oxygen. So, ayan. Kaya na-form yung tatawag na sharing of electrons. So, we're gonna form that, what is so-called covalent bond. Okay. Right? Okay, next one. Oops. Let's discuss about octet rule. So, sabi ko kanina, when we say octet rule, that refers to the tendency of an atom to prefer to have 8 electrons in their valence shell. So, we cannot able to say that the electrons, kaya siya nagiging tawag dito, stable na. Kasi we completely na yung 8 electrons. Di ba dun sa mga noble gases, meron silang valence electrons na 8. So, they are already completely stable. So, di na kailangan makipag-mingle sa other elements. That's why, hindi sila ganun ka highly reactive. Unlike with the metals and non-metals and metalloids. Okay? So that's the octet rule. So ito yung pina-follow natin in order to form a what is so-called chemical bond. Okay, now let's discuss about writing chemical formula. So let's discuss first the chemical formula. Pag sinabing chemical formula is a way to represent any chemical substance using symbols of elements present in it. So we have 3 different types of chemical formula. We have empirical formula. It gives the relative number of atoms of each element in a compound. Example for that is the hydrogen peroxide. Okay, so empirical formula, you are just going to simplify the number of the subscript. Yung subscript, yung number na nakikita nyo sa baba. Ayan, so since both of 2, yung 2 and we have H2 and O2, we have this hydrogen peroxide. To simplify that, to get the empirical formula, what are you going to do is to cancel it out kasi pares naman silang divisible by 2. So, pares naman silang 2. So, cancel mo na lang yan. Dito naman sa empirical formula ng CH10, we have, C4H10. So, both divisible by 2 kaya naging C2H5. Simplify mo lang siya. Okay, so that is empirical formula. Next one is molecular formula, gives the actual number of atoms of each element in a molecules of a compound. So, ito naman binibigay mo naman yung actual number ng atoms. Sa magnesium nitride, for molecules of that, how many magnesium do we have? We have 3. And nitrogen, we have 2. So, paano mo nalaman yun? Tignan mo lang yung subscript. Yung subscript, yung number na nakikita nyo dyan sa baba ng magnesium, that is a subscript. So that is the indication, that is the number that you can use to identify how many atoms do we have in a certain compound. Okay, so magnesium we have 3, sodium we have, sodium. Nitrogen we have 2 atoms of nitrogen. When they have a calcium, we have 1. So pag may parenthesis na ganyan, multiply mo lang yun sa 2. So automatic kasi pagka walang subscript, tapos may parenthesis na ganyan, may 1 yan. So pag walang subscript, automatic 1 yun. So oxygen times mo lang sa 2. So we have oxygen 2 and then hydrogen 2. Ganun lang siya. That's calcium hydroxide. Yan. Yan. Okay. Next one is structural formula. So uses lines that represent chemical bonds and show how the atoms in the molecules are connected to each other. So ganyan yan, makita mo yung bonds. So that is the structural formula. Okay, so ano yan? Alright, so let's discuss about writing chemical formula. So the symbol of formula of an ion with positive is written first, followed by the formula or symbol of an ions with a negative oxidation number. So also we have this valence charges. So we're gonna use the criss-cross method kung saan yung oxidation number niya ay magiging subscript nung kapartner niyang atoms. Okay, so let me explain you later. Okay, so we have here example of sodium chloride. So yung oxidation number niya, pag sinabing oxidation number or oxidation state, that is a number that indicates if it is positive or negative, na kung mag-share ba siya or mag-lose ba siya ng electrons. So dito kasi, no, sodium yan, so positive 1, so it means that mag-share siya ng isang electrons dun sa chlorine. So negative yun, ibig sabihin, negative 1 yan, ibig sabihin negative 1 yan. Tawag doon, pag walang number, automatic 1. Alba, nawala ako. So positive 1 yan, yung oxidation number niya, ibig sabihin meron siyang extra electron na kailangan niya ibigay dun sa isang element. Okay? So that is for ionic. Okay? And then so mangyari diyan, mag-criss-cross lang 'yan, magiging subscript nung sodium yung yung oxidation number ni sodium magiging subscript ni chlorine. Kaya mo magiging 1 siya, nakita niyo may 1 dito sa may baba. Dito. And then dito naman si chlorine, dahil may negative 1 yan, magiging subscript yan ni sodium. Pakita ko sa inyo kung paano yan. So yan, yun. Okay? So we have sodium chloride. Next one is magnesium phosphide. So oxidation number 2, napunta ayan, so napunta kay phosphorus, yung naging subscript yon ni phosphorus. So ganun din kay phosphorus, yung kanyang oxidation number napunta kay magnesium, so naging subscript niya. So we have magnesium phosphide, Mg3b. Okay, so that's it. Next one is potassium nitrate. Okay, nitrate is nitrate, and we have negative oxidation number in potassium. We have positive 1. So criss-cross method lang yan. Ayan. Okay, so ganun yung nangyari. Sir, ba't ganun na-cancel? Huwag nyo na pakialaman yung number ng nitrate na NO3 that is already given there. Huwag nyo na pakialaman yun. Ang papakailaman nyo lang is yung oxidation number kung saan siya malilipat. Okay? Next one is magnesium phosphate. Yan, so yung magnesium napunta dun yung 2 kay phosphate. Tapos yung magnesium, oxidation number ni magnesium na 3 napunta kay magnesium. So we have magnesium phosphate. So dahil wala naman tayong dapat cancel dyan. So parenthesis yan kasi more than 1. So kapag ang kapag ang subscript is more than 1, and then we have this polyatomic ion, we are going to use parenthesis. Okay, that's why we have PO4 parenthesis 2. Next one is wala pala tong tawag ito animation. So dito naman is magnesium 2. So kung papansinin niyo yung arrow, naging yun, subscript ni magnesium ulit yung oxidation number yung oxidation number ni magnesium napunta kay sulfur, naging subscript ni sulfur. So parehas yun, naging 2 parehas 2. So cancel mo yun, simplify mo lang, magiging MgS or magnesium sulfide. And then we have aluminum phosphate. So we have these ones, yung oxidation number ni aluminum magiging subscript ni phosphate, and then yung oxidation number ni phosphate magiging subscript ni aluminum. So what are you going to do is to cancel out everything kasi similar lang naman sila ng kanyang subscript. So to simplify that, we have aluminum phosphate. Tatanggalin nyo na yung parenthesis kasi so automatically naging 1 na siya. So yun. Okay? Next one is sulfur trioxide. Ayan. So ganun ulit yung nangyari. So since they are divisible, both member are 2 yung subscript niya, 2 and 6, yan. So we can simplify that in SO3. Yan. Sulfur trioxide. ay SO3. Sorry, tama, SO3. Next one is calcium silicate. So, ganun din. Pansinin nyo, yun nga. Ganun naman siya. Yung oxidation number, gagawin mo lang subscript ng kabilang atom. O yan. So, ganyan lang siya. So, since both them are you can simplify them. So, 4 and 2 yan, di ba? Simplify mo lang. So, maging Ca2 SiO4. Okay? That's how you're gonna write the chemical formula. So, I hope you learned something. Medyo mabilis lang. So, um, sana natuto kayo. So if you like the video, I want you to like this channel and subscribe so that you are updated for my videos that I'm going to upload about chemistry. Okay, bye.